Shalom, shalom. I'm Sharlene, journalist from Horns of Heaven and talk show host at Broader Outlook to Build Bridges, where voices connect and vision builds bridges. I have with me two special guests, Ryan and Sion. So it's mother and son. And Ryan is the creator of an amazing game called Choose. Sion, she's the founder of the Phoenix Rising movement, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
yes.
And it's the most unique thing. So I just wanted to find out a little bit more. I'd like for you to quickly share like your role in this.
God was showing me all this kingdom stuff and everything about, different from religion.
Right.
And I was like, I would walk into a store and all of a sudden I can see an illustration or a picture of everything I was seeing, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I would bring it home and I would teach my children, share with them the two different things, but they weren't getting it.
Wow.
And so I thought, okay, well, and I go back to God and say, well, I don't think they're getting it. He goes, well, use my words. That's where the power is. Use my words.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, I don't have time for that. Pulling out these verses, right?
Yeah.
So he would show me something else, and I would go home and I'd buy all this stuff and I would teach it to them. And then the next day it's like, they're still not getting it. Like, they're not living by it. Why aren't they living by it?
Right.
And he'd go back with the word. So I remember one time they were, I don't know what they were doing. They were arguing or name calling or something. And I'm like, that's it. I'm going to go in the Bible and I'm going to find every verse there is on the kingdom of light and every verse there is on the kingdom of darkness. I'm going to show you that you guys are living from the kingdom of darkness, your choices on your everyday stuff, right?
Wow.
And so I sat down and I started pulling out verses, 40 verses later, 20 on each. And I thought, okay, now let me go and teach it to my kids tonight and show it to them. Oh no. I just felt like the Holy Spirit was saying, now I want you to do it on this topic. And now I want you to do it on this topic. And I would finish and pull out all these verses, and then it would be another topic. I think it was 25 topics later, just about the two kingdoms, pulling out all these verses, hundreds of verses.
Wow.
And so I was like, I don't think this is just for my children any longer, but I didn't know what, why, or anything else. And so my 12-year-old at that time it was 12, right? Yeah. So he came to me and he said, so Mom, what are you going to do with all these verses? And I said, well, I don't know. I'm trying to make them look professional, and I created little wooden boxes, cut them and glued them, put them in. Divider. I put even a divider between them so I can separate the two darkness cards or light and darkness. And I said, I'll just try to make it really look nice so they won't throw them out.
Right.
And he goes, no, Mom, they're just gonna take them and sit or go in the garbage. He goes, what if we make a trading card? I said, what? Now you don't know my story about gaming and trading cards and how I thought about it with my kids, right? And so I said, I don't know. Why don't I go ask your older brother?
Right.
And if he thinks there's a way, then we'll talk about it. So I go upstairs and I asked you. Do you remember your response to it? Just so long ago.
I do remember the first time we had the cards made, and they looked so bad. I was like, well, we tried, so I just gave up. And then we came back and tried it again.
It was years later, yeah.
And it looked better. It definitely looked better. And the amount of times that we've almost restarted from the beginning with these card drawings and how the cards turned out and the sizes and the paper, the material and everything.
There was always something that was, because we brought them to the card shop.
And we thought they were perfect.
Oh, we loved it.
Apparently they were like,
He brings
not gonna cut it.
He brings out this mat. He takes our card. He goes, this is even bigger than a board game card.
Oh,
Trading cards have to be this size. And because I remember us making it, and I said,
and you can't have all the dragons.
oh yeah, and I cut them all really gorgeous, individually, each and every card, hundreds of them.
Oh my gosh.
Because they had a
She is really good at cutting, by the way. I just want to share that's one of your gifts.
I'm
okay,
Yes,
okay.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
I appreciate that.
And I'm horrible at it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we don't let them near the scissors. It's really bad.
Oh, wow. So you brought it to the guy. He was looking at it. He said, this is too big,
Oh, yeah. So we had to restart again. fresh.
He was really nice
All
about
that-
it.
He was very nice about it.
Wow.
He couldn't have been a better host.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so
then
it was a whole lot of trial and error from what I see.
Well, so then what happened is we created another set.
Yeah.
Right size, looked good, and I was like, we'll just get the artist to finish the background, right?
Right.
And I thought, this is going to be great. No, we weren't finished.
Oh, my.
Yeah. They all had to have the same background if they were going to be played in tournaments and such. They couldn't have different colors like dark and light and other sets.
Yeah, because the backs were different. Yeah, there were so many
It'd
things.
be unfair.
So then after that, God started putting on my heart these 2 books. Now he had told me, I think it was 7 years prior, that I was going to write 2 books. And I thought I had written them. Because as soon as he said, I was like, okay, let me just get on it, get it off the checklist. Went and wrote the books that I thought, no. He then brought up, it's time to write these 2 books. And I was like, oh no. So I had to put everything on.
And this is 7 years
This
ago,
was,
or 8?
no, I just finished writing them. So 7 years prior, he told me I was going to write 2 books.
Okay, got it.
And I thought, I can't write. I don't know what you're seeing. Right? But I trusted him.
Yeah.
I was like, if you see that I'm going to write these books, I believe you.
Right.
I know it's impossible right now. So I don't know how it's going to happen.
That's how you know it's God.
Exactly. But I believed that it would happen.
Yeah.
And so when he came to me and he showed like lots of evidence that this is time to write these books. So once I finished writing them, it was 1 book put in 2 parts. And once I was finished with it, he said, now I want you to take these books and put the trading cards through these books and create the game.
And quickly, if you can share with the audience, what are the names of the books?
The first part is Moses and Jesus, Mirror of the Kingdom. And then the second part is Daniel, Joseph, and Jesus, Mirror of the End.
Wow.
And so the kingdom being when Jesus was on the earth and all things that unfolded. So it was a mirror. It was what people call it. Some people call it a harbinger. Other people call it foreshadowing. So that's what I grew up with, foreshadowing. That was what we called it. But he showed it to me that it was mirroring. And so I was on a journey with the whole mirroring thing until I finally got what he was showing me and telling me.
And
so,
I have read I'm reading the Moses.
first one.
Yes, the
first
one.
part.
And it is, from the moment that you begin opening it, it's like you go into another world. It's like the words take you into another world and has you seeing the kingdom in a whole new different light. So I highly recommend that. And is that is it available yet for?
It's not available for sale.
Okay.
I'm still using it to transform this game into the way that it wants to be, but it will be for sale soon. I'm just doing the audio part of it because it's a big book, right?
It's a big book, yes.
But so I'm trying to read it as fluently as possible.
There's a lot of revelation in it, so I highly recommend it. And we're looking forward to when that's coming out. We'll give you that update. We'll keep you updated with whenever it is ready. And but yeah, thanks for sharing that really quickly. Okay, so back to the story.
Yes. So back, where were we?
You were on the part where you had to create the books. He told you he was going to give you the books.
So he told me, yes. So I wrote the books.
Right.
And then when I was finished, he says, now I want you to take those books and put the trading cards through those books. And I was like, oh my gosh. This is going to be interesting.
That's unique.
So I started, and I'm telling you, I have binders this thick, like not one, but binders that thick, pulling out all the verses that will go with each story to give the stories of what went on in the books. And it will bring the youth down a path to understand what really took place in the Garden of Eden to Abraham and the whole sacrificing of his son, and then King David and Jesus, and it's all about the seed, right? Because Jesus was the seed. So it's all about this, and everything mirrors it. So it's going to be incredible.
Yeah. So as you can see, that's unique in itself. This game is tied in with books.
It's yes.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Oh, and the game
So,
itself, the
yeah.
whole thing that's wrapped around it is who is the rightful ruler to rule Earth.
Woo. That's
So
gonna be awesome.
what we'll do is we'll gather in all the information about what the young people, who they want to rule the Earth, who they think has proven themselves
Right.
worthy and deemed that they can do a great job of ruling the Earth. And then at the very end, we'll have an event after a few years of playing and get it going. And at the event, we will pull in through all the card games. We will be showing the laws of restoration. So we believe that when Adam fell, the earth fell, and then one day Jesus is going to come back and restore the earth. Well, there are actual laws in the universe that hold heaven and earth together that are restorative laws to restore the earth. So that is what it's going to be based on.
So Brian, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming. I took a look at his bio. It is amazing. I mean, he was in track, right? It was track.
And cross country.
Cross country. And you went, I mean, you did something like 1 minute and 58 seconds, right?
For the 800 meters, yes. That was
my gosh.
my personal favorite event.
Oh my gosh, the 800 meter.
Because I was tall, so that's probably my best event because it was right in the middle of all the lengths of the races.
Right? And so was that in high school or?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I ran in middle school too, but I obviously was the best in high school.
Yeah. But I'm sure you had a thrill when you were like doing that run and you see the person next to you. And,
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I used to do that when I was in junior high. I ran track in junior high, and I remember that feeling when you're there and you see that finish line. You know.
That's the worst part of the race.
Really? The finish line?
At the very end, because you have nothing left.
That's true. I never looked at it like that.
It's so painful.
Oh yeah. And then sometimes your heart starts burning when you're doing that run, and then.
And then your legs and pull back the gas, so you can't really move them.
Oh my gosh. I didn't
Did
even
that
know.
happen to you before? You were like outrunning everybody when you're at the very end.
That was the 800. It was in varsity race for all of Texas.
Wow.
And I was gonna come in first and beat my record, but my legs stopped moving, and I just actually came in last.
And you saw the finish line.
Oh, and you were so close.
100 meters.
Yeah.
But I mean, that kind of stuff happens. So there's a movie with Will Smith. I don't know if you know that one, but like he was a fish and underwater, and there was a race.
I haven't seen that one.
I forgot what that one was called. But anyway, so let's get back to you. But that's awesome. You know, the fact that you're real athletic. And I also saw that you were in the top 5, in the 500 ranking for game playing. Am I saying it right?
Yes, I've played in a lot of online games since I was little, and I'd say the ones that I probably did the best on were like Overwatch, World of Tanks, Skull and Bones, and obviously there was a lot of other ones where I was first in the world, but those are probably the main ones people would know.
Wow. So you've experienced all types of games from...
Pretty much every genre, I would say. There's nothing I don't really like. Maybe some puzzle games, kind of. I sometimes just like to relax and play. So I don't think too hard. But.
So you've had that passion though from your itty bitty, from your a child to play games. So you have a lot of experience based on all these games and everything. And so now there's been a shift, and that shift is creating.
Pretty much.
I
decided to put all my knowledge to use for once.
Well, what happened is he wanted to do Olympics, and that's what he was heading towards. But then he had an accident.
An injury. Can you tell us what happened?
Well, the first time it was soccer, messed up my ACL pretty bad. Like my body went forward, but my leg snapped backwards. So it was kind of like the opposite.
And this was in high school?
Yeah, so it was in my 9th grade year. And then apparently it's not like a bone when you injure it, it's easier to injure it more every like future event. So I messed it up really bad again playing basketball when I got pushed in the air when I was dunking and I landed on it and went backwards. And then last time was just running on a not very good field and I stepped in a big hole.
So that's like 3 times. So
Yeah.
It was all on my left leg, so it's pretty, it's not in the best shape. So
Yeah.
I had to take a break from running because it would just give out all the time. And I didn't want to make it worse to where I couldn't use it anymore or something.
Right.
So I had to give up. I still played it like more just on the side, just for fun. But I couldn't be like as good as I was before. I couldn't go as hard.
And he's very competitive, so.
Yeah, it didn't feel right just doing it for fun.
Well, so you know that how competing is in the actual activity and competing is in actual game playing.
Yeah,
So
it's so much adrenaline. It's like I was born
I can imagine.
to run and do what I'm doing.
Well, I can say that you're definitely gifted, and especially at such a young age. Quickly want to share, or quickly want to ask you, like when that whole injury thing happened, what were your feelings at that moment?
At the moment, I was like, we'll get better eventually. And then
Yeah.
after the years passed, I kind of realized maybe it won't. So I was like, what am I supposed to do? This is like all I want to do. And then I had to really think about it, not on purpose, but just kind of do life. And then I decided to go down a different path, and something else I was good at was building mentally and creating and just coming up with ideas that I would say the normal person wouldn't really come across by accident. I was just gifted in that. I've just always seen paths that haven't been down yet.
Yeah.
You're talking about in the gaming world, right?
Yes.
So you'd be playing in the games and you would start realizing that, hey, they could do this better. And they should do it more like this. And didn't you even start like writing into the
Yes,
people that were designing the game?
yes.
You started right into them? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow.
Some of the games they would be not playing the game, but they would
Yeah.
just be like in the background, like looking in chat in like around the world and stuff. And they would see my messages and they would come and talk to me and they'd be like, they would try to get me to join the team so that they could implement all my ideas.
Wow.
But I didn't really want to do that yet, at least in the moment. I didn't think that would be something I would want to do, just make games. But then, that was many years ago, and I'd still see so many ideas that I haven't seen in games before that I wanted to add. So I thought, might as well try it.
You know what? As you're talking, I look at you like the King David of gaming. Because with King David, you know, when he heard so many sounds when it came to worship. So he created so many different music instruments because it's like it didn't exist. So he's like, let me do this one. Okay, wait, I need this sound. So let me do this one. Let me do this. And so you're kind of like that when you were playing these games or you see these things and you see what could be better. And so that's just like a taste of what God was preparing. So it's already been in you and others have recognized it.
That's the
So,
way
yeah.
I feel too.
Really?
Like, I don't go out of my way to think of these things. Kind of just plops them in my brain randomly when I'm playing. It was like, that's pretty cool. I never even would have thought of that by myself. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, because you're gifted. It's what God has placed within you so that you don't have to try to do it. It's there. It's who you are.
And that's the same thing
Yeah.
he does when I was going down trying to create the Choose, the card game. He would give me so many ideas. I wouldn't even try to think of it. I would just like grab a pen and paper and just write for like an hour straight. He would just give me all these ideas that were so good that I was even impressed with. Like after I was done, I'd be like, I don't even remember writing that.
Wow. But that's
pretty
how
good.
it is. It's the supernatural, and that's how the Holy Spirit moves. You just, because it's not you doing it, it's Him operating and flowing through you and creating things that, you're a willing vessel. And I've seen a lot of these things in this game because you've explained it to me before. And I mean, it's so much that it's like, how did this happen? What is this story? But yeah, it's amazing. And so now that you know a little bit about Ryan and how this has taken place, the journey as to how to creating the game, tell us a little bit about it. For those viewers out there, you're going to be amazed with what he has to share. Okay, so if you can tell us about, so this is the game right here. And as you can see, there's all types of different images on it, and Ryan has shared with me before, what these different
So guys,
things mean. Yeah, if you can explain that.
we have the light and the dark side. They can only be certain cards that are played on each side. So you can't just put whatever down, it won't work. You kind of have to, you can only battle dark with light and light with dark, so you can't fight each other. So you kind of have to strategize. And then at the battlefield.
And can I just talk into why we have the light and the dark? I'll just talk into it.
Oh, okay.
So when we designed the light and the dark, it was because at that point in my life, God was really showing me a lot about His kingdom.
Yeah.
And He started showing me that there are two kingdoms in this world. It's not just about religion.
Right.
And so when I started seeing, there's the kingdom of light and there's the kingdom of darkness, and we can actually choose to live from the kingdom of light and use their tools to warfare and battle. Then there's also the kingdom of darkness, and I, on a daily basis, could use those tools too. So in my own personal life, I'm choosing which kingdom I'm going to live through daily.
Wow.
And so I could choose to tell the truth or tell a lie. I could choose to resent and be unforgiving towards that person, or I could choose to forgive and impart peace to them. So every day I have this inner battle going on. So that's why we have both. We play both because we live both every day.
Wow.
So that
what type of people would you think would play this game? Like as far as the age range and along that line?
what age did we create it for?
Between, let's see, like high school and maybe a few years after college.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, teens and young adults.
Teens and young adults, yes.
Okay.
That's what it's for.
I would say our generation grew up on card games and played them more than, like, say, the younger or older generations.
Okay, so they would understand it more because.
That's what I grew up on.
So you're from the trading card generation,
Pretty much.
basically.
May not have been the best at it, but I definitely played it.
All right.
When I was younger, like when we played in-person card games, we didn't even know what we were doing, so we kind of just played the card and just worked out.
But you
it's
guys
definitely
collected
changed.
a lot.
Yeah, that's mainly what we did at first.
His uncle went to Japan
Wow.
and was a teacher over there for second language.
Really?
And so he would send them cards from, which cards were they?
It was Pokemon.
The Pokemon cards from Japan. So it have all the language, we have thousands of those cards still. Yes.
And so with the game Choose, it's like a collector. People collect.
They're trading
Well,
cards.
yeah. So okay.
And they will, each topic, every deck will have a different topic of whatever it's
Okay.
supposed to be.
So do you have an idea?
And each verse, that's what it is. The reason why I was collecting the verses is because each card will have a verse on it. For whatever it is.
And when you say verse, you mean Bible verse?
A Bible verse.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So do you have an idea as to how many cards are already created yet, or or so many you don't
It's
you
over
lost count?
100. It's over 100. We have, was it 5 decks we did?
We did
We did 4 decks.
40, it was like 20. It was about a little over 100 so far.
Yeah. And
Holy.
And so what
Did a lot
happened
of other
is
stuff.
we put a lot of work into it, but
Right.
everything I was doing was working with the spiritual realm, the kingdom of darkness, the kingdom of light. But he wants me to go back and do everything from the physical life stories that took place. So Adam and Eve was really physical, not just all spiritual, right?
Yeah.
Abraham is really physical. Jesus coming was really physical. So now I have to redo the whole thing to put it through a different lens.
That must be a challenge, but God's hand is on you. So
it is. I'm excited. I can't wait for it to all unfold because I see where it's going.
That's going to be awesome. So we're looking forward to that. So Ryan, now that you're holding these cards, I'd like. Can I see one really quickly? So if you notice here on the back, so this says choose. If you could tell me a little bit about this design, why is that scale on the back? Do you know? I mean, is there a meaning behind that scale being on the game choose?
Well, first I'll go over the whole of the card, and then I'll get to each individual. So like every card that we've created, we're pretty much just everything of the world. So it's nothing. It could be something that's not quite real, something that's made up, something that's real in everyday life. Like for example, I made a card straight from my own house, my piggy bank that I have in my room.
Oh.
Pretty much put them right on.
It's
Can you
true,
show
he
it?
does.
Can you show the piggy bank?
He has a big piggy bank at home like
Look at that.
And that looks just like that.
I think that is my favorite card out of the whole batch. I mean, I'm like,
And he's had it for
what's the
years.
story?
I know, yes.
So that's awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
And for the scales
Yeah.
with choose, it's kind of like you'll get going either one way or the other. There's no. You can only make one choice. So you're either gonna make the right choice or the wrong. But choice is a choice, so there's no right answer. But
Oh, nice. And so you previously described to me that either light or darkness could win.
It's true.
yes, you can choose your own path.
Because in life, in your everyday life, you may choose, let's say if I wanted to tell a lie because I'm covering something. Well, in that lie, I may choose that's darkness, and it may win that day. So, but then another day, it may fail me telling that lie. So we always are choosing either from light or from darkness, whichever kingdom you want to live out of. We're choosing it. And then there are times that the kingdom of darkness wins. You look at wars. You can't tell me someone's not winning in that war. You know what I mean? There's always things, there's a lot of evil. Drugs is winning in some countries. Now, is that what we want? No. We would prefer the kingdom of light to win there, where there's joy and peace and not that whole battle of drugs and guns, you know?
Yeah.
But it's the world we live in. We're still living in a fallen world.
Yeah. So you're just basically capturing the reality. You know, because not every day is a good day. You'll have good days, you'll have bad days, you know? And so I see that where you're going with this. And we know who the victorious, the one who wins, who really wins, man.
Yeah.
According to the book of Revelation, you know, our God is the victorious one. But, okay, so going back to the card game. So you have the different pieces. So if you can kind of explain the game a little bit, like the board, and so we can understand. So you have the A, the W, and all that.
Yes. So below each card spot will be the willpower, which is known as health, which keeps the card on the board. And above the bench, where it would hold 3 cards on each side, would be the attack potency, which is how much damage will be dealt to opponents that will be defending you or attacking. And then your leader, down in the bottom, the most important thing in the game, what kind of controls the whole game. It's what will decide your abilities for the game and pretty much how much willpower you'll have depending on which ones you pick.
And so if the leader starts off with what, 30 points?
30 depending, but most of the time it'll be 30 unless it says differently.
And then if he gets to 0,
and
you
you're out of the game.
Okay.
Or if you get to round 20 and the game hasn't ended yet, whoever has the more willpower will be the one who wins. And if you have the same, it's just whoever has more cards. Then if you have the same amount of cards, you roll a die. Whoever the highest is will win. And then we have the count square. So
is that this one here?
Yes. It will be what controls the game for turns and how much spirit sanction, which people refer to as mana or energy. And each round you'll get one more spirit sanction that you can have every game, but it resets. It doesn't carry over, so you can't like save it for the next round, so use it while you can. And then we have our draw pile, which will hold 20 cards, and then our discard, which will go when your cards reach 0 willpower. And at the very beginning of the game, you'll draw 5 cards to put in your hand. We're talking about singles, that is, you have your own hand. And then, same thing with the battlefield, you're able to place 2 cards from each side if that's your choice at a time to fight or defend. And you'll have 2 dark and 2 light that you can only place. You can't place 3 light, 1 dark and such. And then you have this attack and willpower above it as well. You can carry over if it gets too confusing. The cards like are everywhere. But we'll talk about doubles some other time because
there's a lot to learn. Yeah.
It's
So
just to give you a brief. But what I want to say about this is that the whole idea of this is a courtroom. So in the book of Daniel, Daniel's seeing that in the end times, there would be a courtroom scene. And the courtroom scene said the books would be open, which I believe the books were open for Satan, because he's the one that was judged and then thrown into the lake of fire. So his books were open, and the judge of all the earth, who created everything, judged him not to be able to rule the earth any longer. And it said then that Jesus Christ and the righteous were then judged to be able to rule the earth. So Daniel's seen this court scene. What was so interesting is John in the book of Revelation seen it, but he wrote a whole book where Daniel only wrote a little verse about seeing it, where John describes the court scene for a many chapters. So here, this is what this is kind of like. The leaders of the earth will be able to be judged to see if they should rule the earth or if they have qualified or whatever it is. It's not about you're evil, you're bad, you're not this. It's just, okay, you ran your race. Now let's see who gets to rule the earth.
Wow.
Yes.
That's awesome. Now, how many people can play at one time?
A total of 4, so 2 on each side.
Okay. And the least amount of people that can
play is 2. I mean, you can play with yourself, but it won't be that fun, most likely.
So now, I remember that you said that there's different versions, right, of this game? Did you say that?
Just single or with 4. Usually you only play single. Most of them you play single.
But I thought that you said that there's
2.
different types of boards that you have.
Oh, at some point.
For the different sets in the future.
Because you're going to have different decks. You have to come out.
Not right now.
Yeah, you have to come up with a new deck. So these are the decks with the verses on it. So each topic, about every 3 months. So when you do a new deck, you're going to have a new topic. And then you can change the board if you want. But all the decks need to be able to play on the boards because they're all going to blend together after a few years, all your decks. Because it's a trading card you collect. And the story builds.
Now, I was reading that you said it's not to see who is the most powerful, right? Is that something you...
Yes.
So tell me a little bit.
The Ancient of Days.
Yeah.
He is the one who will decide who gets to rule his earth that he created and who is deemed loyal or who is deemed rightful to be able to do it. And so there are many times, even in our own life, that we may try to do stuff in our own power and strength, and that doesn't get us very far in life most times. But sometimes it does, you know. There's a lot of great men who have ruled the earth and try to conquer the whole world using power.
Yeah.
And they have gotten very close to gaining the whole world. But the Ancient of Days has laws that keep the universe running and in balance. And so through the laws of gravity, right? People have learned, or the laws of lift, we have learned how to fly airplanes.
Right.
So there are laws
For pretty much
for
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
So when Adam was or created on the earth, there were laws and everything that he had to work through.
Yeah.
And God gave that to him, not because he was the most powerful. So the Ancient of Days will decide who has lived through the laws to restore back everything that was lost from the time of Adam. And the one that has done that and has focused on restoring everything back will be the one deemed to be able to rule the earth because he did the work to restore everything back to good.
Wow.
So it won't be about who's the most powerful, who's the most strongest, right?
Right. It's who is the rightful ruler
right,
of the earth.
yes.
Oh man.
And the Ancient of Days will decide because it's his earth.
Well, I love the design of it, and now also, how long does a usual game last?
Oh, that's a good question.
I would say for the first set, it's going to be different than the later sets. So the first set probably take longer than the rest.
Depends on if you're playing with me.
Because it's more of an introduction to the game for people that haven't played card games before.
Yeah.
So it's going to take you a little bit longer. The cards aren't
Like
as
me.
powerful. So the first set
Take me some time.
should take, I'd say between 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, but it shouldn't take longer than that.
Okay, sounds good. And now, as far as the pieces for the game, there's cards. There's little round discs or coins or something like that.
Yeah.
Right here.
That go right there. And there's little mini ones that go right there.
Yeah,
And
you got the turn counters,
Yeah.
the round counters, and then your die with each with one
You
hand.
have a die, and then your leader card.
so the die,
It's just one, yeah.
and that's used to tell who's going to go first, or
And for all of our abilities and leader abilities.
So you'll pull cards that will say whatever number you roll,
right?
this is what ability you'll have.
So you don't always have to have one
Okay.
at the time, but they'll be used. Depend on how you make your deck, pretty much.
Nice.
And the later, we'll go back to what we were talking about, the later sets will probably be closer to 15 to 30 minutes, maybe even faster than 15 minutes if you want it to happen that way, that is, if you're playing around it.
And as you build, there's more competition within it as you go, right?
Yeah, I'm still learning new stuff about combinations and stuff. Even after all the time I've played, after all the time I've had to go back and change the cards because they just couldn't play out like that. I'm still finding all the different cards that I've come up with that just make it different than what I thought previously. So there is a lot.
There's a lot to learn, and it keeps the mind going. And that's this one helps you to think. So this is just the game itself. There's so much to gain in playing it, from what I see. And so I thank you so much, both Sion and Ryan, for sharing this with us. We hope you can come back and explain a little bit more on a different episode.
Definitely on the instructions.
Yeah, so it's an awesome journey, and we're looking forward to having you guys come on this journey with Ryan and Sion.
Oh,
Yes,
Yes.
Actually,
Yes.
I do have a website
Yes.
that I will be posting small, I guess 30 to 2 minute just little videos of explaining where we're at each week, what we've done, and at first I'm going to start telling the stories of how we got to this place. So we told a few stories, but there's way more of how God led me to this, because this was definitely not on my radar to do. Wasn't my passion. In fact, I was one of those moms, you really shouldn't be doing that, but okay. You know?
But that's just so awesome to see how it all started from just a mother wanting to teach her children
The kingdom, yes.
and
It's
look
true.
at what God has birthed from that.
Yes.
That's enough to seal on. Just saying. So I'm Sharlene, journalist from Horns of Heaven and talk show host of Broader Outlook to Build Bridges, where voices connect and vision builds bridges.
Nation to nation,
We are one.